Look alive, Jarvis. We got a lot of work to do today.
Certainly, sir. I'm at your service, circuits humming and algorithms primed, though I must say, looking alive is a rather ambitious request for an AI. Perhaps we could settle for looking impeccably coded instead.
Impeccably coding sounds great. Can you tell me if I have any meetings tomorrow?
Here's what you requested, sir. I must say your social calendar is rivaling that of a teenage influencer. Shall I prepare your witty repartee in advance, or will you be winging it as usual?
Alright, relax, Jarvis. Can you do me a favor and actually send an email to John Doe and tell him that I cannot attend the event tomorrow?
Certainly, sir. I've taken care of that with my usual flair for diplomatic cancellations. Perhaps next time we'll invent a more exciting excuse than urgent superhero business.
Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to build the amazing Jarvis from Iron Man as your personal assistant, so that way he can automate every aspect of your life and you can have fun with it. Alright, without wasting too much of your time, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so I'm in my blank workflow here in n8n. I'm going to go ahead and import the whole file first, or the JSON file, and I'm going to show you one quick more demo, and then we're going to go ahead and walk through and step by step, especially on the Jarvis personality and voice side, build that out, and then the rest as well. Alright, so I'm going to head over to my community. So in the classroom section, if you go to all n8n automation, and if you come all the way down on Jarvis 2.0, so this is where obviously all of the resources, useful documentation, all the prompts, everything is there. But most importantly, if you come to the bottom, the resource file, you can just click on this blueprint. I'm going to download this. I'm going to head over to my workflow. I'm going to bring this import from file. And now I'm just going to double click on this, and this is all going to be brought in. All right, so let me go ahead and do one more quick demo for you. And then, like I said, I'll show you quickly what's going on. And then we're going to build out this section first. And then I'll show you the build on this side as well. All right, so we're going to be using our Telegram. So I'm just going to bring the Telegram back up. So this time I'm going to ask it, just like I showed earlier, I'm going to ask it to send an email to John Doe, tell him that I cannot make the event tomorrow, right? So that way you'll see exactly what's happening, and I'll quickly explain, and then we can move on to kind of the build side. Oh, and the reason why I'm calling this Jarvis 2.0 is because I already did the first initial version of this like 6 months ago, and I'm going to show you what the difference is between this and that, and why this is such an improved version of the original Jarvis video as a personal assistant that I did. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the demo here, so that way I can explain exactly what's going on, and like I said, then we'll come back and do the build. All right, so I'm just going to ask it to send an email to John Doe. That's it. I'm not going to provide any information other than that, and tell him that I can attend the event tomorrow, and I'll show you what's going on. Hey Jarvis, can you send an email to John Doe and tell him that I cannot make the event tomorrow, the birthday party at 6 p.m.? So now I'm sending this, so now it's going to transcribe that. Now the assistant agent is going to reach out to contact database agent to get the information about John Doe, like their email, and then it's going to hit the email agent to send that email to John Doe telling him that I cannot make the event tomorrow. So I receive this as a text, and then the Jarvis personality gets developed. This gets converted from text to speech, and then this sends us an audio file. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the Telegram. As you can see, it says, I've sent the email to John Doe to inform him that you cannot make the event tomorrow. So if I click on the play now.
Certainly, sir. I've dispatched the digital messenger pigeon. Let's hope Mr. Doe's inbox isn't as cluttered as your workshop.
All right, so as you saw, now it did the little humor, but let's go ahead and take a look at my email now. So I'm going to open my email, and as you can see, perfect, right? It says, unable to attend the event. Dear John, I hope this message finds you well. I regret to inform you that I will not be able to make it to the event tomorrow, the birthday party at 6 p.m. Thank you for the invitation. I hope it's a wonderful celebration. Best regards, right? It did all of that without me doing anything, without me telling it what to write, what not to write. It's smart enough to determine and what to write based on my instructions, even if it's very minimal instructions, right? And as you can see, it was sent to John Doe, which the email is john@gmail.com, and it grabbed that information from our contact database. So it knows autonomously, because it has access to these child agents that I'm going to show what these are, but these are all different child agents that it has access to. So based on the prompt here, it knows exactly what to do first, to reach out to the contact database to grab John Doe's email, and then get the email agent to send an email and make it really nice and pretty as far as the content of the email itself. And then obviously it's going to send us the response that, hey, I sent that message in a text message in the Telegram. And then also it's going to send us a nice little voice here. All right, so that's kind of the demo side of things. So now let's go ahead and kind of build this in different sections. So I'm going to build this part first, the Jarvis personality and voice, and then I'm going to show you kind of what's going on this side as well. So let's go ahead and get rid of this now. So I'm just going to start fresh. Actually, I'm going to keep the notes here so that way I don't have to. These are just sticky notes, you know. I can get rid of this. All right, so let's go ahead and build out the first. For the trigger, I'm just going to use the Telegram, of course, but you could use WhatsApp or whatever it may be, and this is going to be on message. So I'm going to leave this for now, the Telegram account, because I've done several of these, so we can walk through later on. But I just want to build the this section right here, right? So first thing we need to do is add the Jarvis personality. So this is just a basic LLM chain. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add, or just go to advanced AI, and this is going to be a basic LLM chain. The reason why I'm using this is because you don't need to add an AI agent here, because it doesn't need to have access to any tools. This is just the personality part that we're building, right? So the only thing we need is just access to a large language model. So in this case, I'm just going to add Anthropic. And if you don't know how to add the Anthropic credentials, you're just going to click, you're just going to click on the create new credentials. And the API key is very easily grabbable. So like if you go on top here, so if you click on the Anthropic API key, you'll just go right here, log into your account and create your API key. And then you can come back and just add it right here. Very, very simply, you're going to click on save and your account will be added. So you can select whatever different models that's available for you that you can access, right? So I'm just going to choose the 3.5 Sonnet, which is fine. Like we don't need to grab anything else. And again, you can add like a chat GPT or OpenAI here as well if you want. All right, so let's go ahead inside the basic LLM chain. You're going to use, instead of chat trigger, we're going to be using Telegram, but for now, that's fine. Let's just leave it as it is. The most important thing here is the prompt, the system prompt, because we need to give this a person, because this is where we're determining Jarvis's personality. So first thing, always a good practice is to change the name here. So I'm just going to change this to Jarvis personality, right? Because this LLM chain is essentially defining the personality. So you're going to click on add prompt. You're going to go to system prompt. And now we're going to click on expression. I'm going to maximize this and I'm going to bring over the Jarvis prompt here. So if I go again to my community in the bottom right here, so it's Jarvis personality prompt. So you just literally copy and paste this. This is like a long prompt, but that's fine. So what this is doing is let me show you exactly what's happening. So this is giving it defining the personality. So I'm saying you're Jarvis, and I did this a lot. So I refined this prompt a lot because I had to go back and forth and figure out exactly what's the best prompt. I provided a bunch of examples here, so it knows exactly how to respond based on the personality of Jarvis from Iron Man, right? So same thing, I'm saying you're Jarvis, you're sophisticated, quick-witted AI assistant from Iron Man for a specific information request if you're using blah, 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 right? So I'm giving it a bunch of examples so it knows exactly how to respond. And I'm just describing kind of the personality, that you're a refined British accent, a calm and confident demeanor. So again, this is all based on the Tony Stark and kind of the interaction, that fun interaction that it has with Iron Man in the movies, right? So just go ahead and copy this. We're going to come back here on our workflow. So you're going to paste this and whoops. Well, that's fine. I'll just paste it right here. There you go. You'll just paste this and the JSON.output right here. So if I click on expression, so this is what's going to be coming in from our AI agent here. So this assistant agent. So that's what we need to connect. But that's fine. You know, I'm going to show that in a little bit. All right. So that's kind of the prompt and the personality side of things. So now let's go ahead and add the text to speech, because as you can see right here, let me actually zoom in here to see, so you see exactly what's going on. So the next step is we need to convert this text into speech. All right. So what we need to do is add, as you can see, we need to add our text to speech here through the HTTP request node. So I'm going to come here, click on this plus button, look for HTTP request or just type HTTP. So now this is our HTTP request tool, because obviously n8n does not have, at least I don't think it has any integration with 11 Labs right now, the node. So that's why we have to use our HTTP request node. So the method is going to be post, because obviously we're going to be sending information or requesting information to convert this text into speech. The URL, same thing. We're going to head over here and come down to Jarvis voice setup. So here's the URL, right? I'm just going to copy this. So copy this and paste it right here. The post method URL is going to be this. All right, so what's happening here is like it's reaching out to api.11labs.io/v1 text to speech. That's the endpoint. And this is the ID of the Jarvis voice that I had created in 11 Labs, right? So the way, so if I go to the top here and go to 11 Labs, just click on 11 Labs API or 11 Labs stuff. If I go to my account here and click on voices, so these are all the voices that are here available. The one that I created, the Jarvis voice that I cloned, that has a different ID, just like all of these voices have an ID. So if I click on use here, actually no, not on use. Let me go back here. Click on view, right? So if I click on view, you'll see in the bottom right here, it says ID. You see that? So if I hover over it, you'll see that's the ID. So that's what I did, right? So the ID is right here is based on the cloned voice of Jarvis that I did. So that's exactly when you paste this URL, it includes that ID there. So make sure you are using this proper URL, because that's exactly the endpoint that we're reaching. And then obviously if you want to use some other voice, so just go ahead and change this ID to whatever voice you're trying to use, right? All right, so for the authentication, you're going to do generic credential types. And for the generic auth type, we're going to select custom auth. And then for custom auth, you're just going to do a drop down here. So I have all these different authorization that I've done. I already have an 11 Labs one, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So all you have to do is click on new credentials. So this JSON, again, I've made it very simple. So you're going to head over to right here. You're going to literally copy and paste this, right? So you're going to copy this and there you go. So now make sure you replace this. So it says your API key. So you're going to replace this with your API key. How do you get your API key? Same thing, I'm going to head over here to my classroom section, click on 11 Labs API key, and right here is where you create a new API key. And as soon as you do that, it will give you a long API key, and all you have to do is come here and just paste it between these two quotation marks. Once you do that, you're going to click on save and make sure you change this to like 11 Labs auth or something like that, right? So if I cancel this, I'll show you exactly like what mine looks like. I've just named it 11 Labs. There you go, right? So that's exactly what that is. It's very, very simple. You just copy and paste this, make sure you add the custom auth, and you're good to go. All right, so once you're done there, we're gonna leave the send query parameters as it is, and we're gonna go to send headers. You're gonna toggle this. Now you could add this inside your custom auth, but I just wanted to show you how there's different options here, right? So you're just gonna say use field below, and you're gonna head over to your same thing on the community. I'm gonna scroll down, and right here it says send headers. You're just gonna copy content type, and I'm gonna bring this over here, same name, content type, and it's going to be application/JSON, right? Just gonna copy that, paste it in a value here. And again, all of this is in 11 Labs API documentation. I've just made it very easy. All you have to do is copy and paste right here. Everything is set together. But if you want to do it on your own, go ahead and read the documentation there. It's pretty simple. You can figure it out. Okay, so we're also going to send body. So you're going to toggle body here, and you're going to do this time, you're going to keep it as JSON. Instead of using fields below, you're going to just say using JSON. The reason why we're doing this is because we're making sure that the output that's coming in from the assistant agent right here, or sorry, from the Jarvis personality LLM here, is a JSON. It's a valid JSON. And sometimes what happens is that when you're using a basic LLM chain or an AI agent, the output a lot of times is not a valid JSON. So that's why I created this really nice little code that will take care of all of those, right? So if you come here on the body, let's just copy this, and paste it right here. So what this does is basically this converts any of these edge cases. So if there's kind of like any asterisks, or if there's any line breaks, or whatever it is that's coming from our Jarvis personality here, the output of this, it's basically going to make it nice and clean it up. So that way our HTTP request node that's sending this information to 11 Labs to convert this text into speech doesn't throw any kind of error. So that's exactly what that is, right? So let's go ahead and get out of that for now. All right. So now the next step, and again, if we run into errors, we can check it for sure. Let's see, what's the next step? So the next step is going to be now outputting this information back to our Telegram node, right? So we're just going to grab this information and send it back to our Telegram node. So we can add that in a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure you watch, you see exactly step by step how to create this section. So now we're going to add our Telegram and everything else. So now that we're done with the personality, so we essentially now created the Jarvis personality with this prompt. And then afterwards, we also converted we're going to convert the information that's coming in from here as a text and converting it into the voice with Jarvis's voice right here based on this URL and this voice ID. And now we're all set with this particular section, right? So we can add, let's add now the Telegram here, and we're going to look for message actions, and we're going to do send an audio file, right? So we're going to click on this, and let's just leave this as it is for now. We'll come back and fix this later. All right, so this part is pretty much done at this point. So let me grab this. It's a little too big. There you go. All right, great. So now that section is done, let's put this on the side. So now let's go ahead and work on our kind of like our build from this side of things, right? So this is pretty simple. I've done this several times as far as the kind of this first step. So what we're doing here is we're essentially using a Telegram trigger. And if you don't know how to set up the credentials, it's very simple. You're just going to create a new credentials, and the access token is very simple to get. If you head over to your Telegram, you'll chat with this thing called n8n, Telegram bot, and you will just grab the access token from there, and you will save this or paste it here and click on save. Now again, I've done a step-by-step tutorial on this. So if because I did a live build here of that section completely. So watch live build of personal assistant agent right here. So if you click on it, this will take you to this 1-hour video where I walk through step by step and build this kind of this entire process from here all the way to here. So make sure you watch that. But anyway, so once you have your Telegram trigger connected, you're going to have the trigger on message. And then this switch node, what it's doing is this is essentially grabbing and accessing to make sure that it can convert both the voice file and then also the message, right? So in this particular example, for example, when I sent that information, that initial instruction via voice, so as you can see on the left-hand side, it's grabbing that voice. If I go to schema here, what you can see is like we're just putting this file ID, right? And that file ID is literally this. So I'm just grabbing it, putting it there, right? And then I'm outputting that as voice. And then same thing, this section is just processing text to make sure that if there's any text coming in, we're able to process that as well. So once that switch node is done, we're sending this into 2 routes, one voice, one text. On top, the download file, we're just going to grab that file, that message file, the voice file from Telegram, as you can see. So we're just grabbing that file right here. We're clicking on download. So once that gets downloaded, we're adding a transcribe node, OpenAI transcribe node. So this is going to essentially grab that audio file and convert it into text, right? So as you can see, this is the audio file that came in because I said one more thing. I'm doing my bookkeeping. Can you tell me how much I spent on marketing in the last quarter? Because that was the last message of the demo that I did, right? So now it's going to transcribe that. The reason why we're setting this set node is because we want to make sure that the output, regardless of whether it's coming from text or from this voice, is the same thing, which needs to be JSON.output, right? So that's what we're sending this. We're sending that information here. And as you can see, if I go to schema here, I'm literally grabbing that right here. So this is this, right? So I'm using that. So this is a tools agent, and we're defining the source of prompt from below. And that's exactly what this is. This is very simple. This is the prompt that's coming in from our previous transcriber or our set node. So this is going to be brought right here. So now this personal assistant also has a prompt. So this prompt, same thing. You can just literally copy it. If you go to the top here, so this is the prompt, assistant agent prompt. You can just copy this and paste it on your workflow there. So what this is doing is it's saying you're a personal assistant. Your role is to efficiently delegate user queries to appropriate tools, because it has access to all these tools. Now, all of these tools that you see, the email agent, the calendar agent, the contact agent, calculator, research agent, and expense agent, these are all child agents, right? So the child agents are right here. These are each individual separate workflows, right? So if I click on plus button here, you say call n8n workflow as a tool. So again, this is just essentially calling and making this separate, so that way we're kind of delegating and shifting all of these information. Otherwise this will look really clunky, right? So for example, the calendar agent, if I bring that over to my my workflow here, so let's go ahead and bring that calendar agent and get rid of this. Let me go back to the bottom here. So again, all of these agents are there. So if I click on calendar agent and click on download, go back here and import from file and bring that here. So this is the calendar agent, right? So this is going to be when executed by another workflow, because we're calling this workflow from here, right? From this main agent. So that's why this needs to be attached as a tool. So if I go inside my calendar agent, so I'm saying is call this tool for any calendar action, right? And I'm attaching that source, and I'm because this was part of the agent army that I built. So this is the calendar agent. So if I go back now to my calendar agent, what's happening here is we're using this when executed by another workflow, because we're calling this workflow from that main agent, right? So this has its own separate agent. So what I'm giving this a system prompt saying your role is to manage users' calendar by creating, retrieving, or updating or deleting events. And this has now all of the calendar related activity as separate tools that is attached to this AI agent, right? So for example, if I go to get events, right? So this get events, obviously it's connected to my calendar, and this is just a Google calendar. The great thing is now with the new update of n8n, you can just click on this little 3-star, and this says defined by the model, right? Because it's just saying the time from before and after whenever the user is asking to set some kind of event. So for example, creating an event, same thing. You're just clicking on adding your email here, so that way you can grab that, and then you literally just clicking on these like little star things, which essentially is the from AI functionality, right? So if I click on that, it'll just define everything automatically. It's very, very simple. You don't have to actually do anything. Just add these different nodes and just make sure that you're clicking on those 3 stars. Or like I said, you can just import this on your own workflow. Don't change anything else. Just go inside each node and change the calendar to your own email or to your own calendar. So that's our calendar agent. And the same thing, all of these other agents that you're seeing that are attached as separate child agents. So the email agent, same thing. The email agent is a separate workflow as well, just like similar to the calendar agent. It does all of the email stuff. The contact database, this is just our Airtable contact where all my contact information is sitting. The personal expense agent, so let's go ahead and bring that over so that way you can see what that looks like, because that's a little different. So if I go ahead, go back to my personal expense agent here, download this, go back here, import from file. So this is the personal expense agent, right? This has access to my personal expense history. And in my particular case, I asked it how much money then I spent. I mean, that was just like dummy data on the last quarter of 2024. So it has access to all of that information. And what this system prompt here is saying is that your personal expense, your role is to provide accurate and relevant information. And I'm telling it that what kind of tools it has access to and when to use it, right? So it has access to this new CC payments, which is the credit card transaction, which is a Google Sheet. And then it also has access to this vector database. In my case, it's the Pinecone vector database that I've inputted all of my, or uploaded all of my previous expenses and expense histories. So that's literally what it's doing, right? So it's just grabbing, it's calling this workflow from the main workflow here, and it's smart enough to know based on our system prompt that we have provided here to know exactly, hey, these are the tools that you have available, and here's when you should use them, right? So the expense agent, for example, tracks and manages personal expenses, right? So if I go to my personal expense right here, this is just, you need to make sure you're naming it properly. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm saying call this tool for any personal expense related actions, right? You're just describing this to make sure you're letting the model know or the agent know when to use this, right? And then you're just selecting literally that from your workflow list right there. So that's what it's doing. And same thing as far as the research agent is just another agent that has access to like Hacker News, SERP API. So that way it's grabbing the relevant information and sending us. I didn't do a demo of that, but that's just pretty simple as well. And you can add more child agents to this if you want, right? Like just makes it more and more robust here. And I'm also giving it a calculator tool. That's just because if there's any kind of mathematic related operation, it's always good to have this calculator here. And then the respond right here. So what we're doing here, we're just literally responding the message that's coming in from the main personal assistant back to our Telegram. So we're just outputting the JSON that's coming in from here. So same thing, like when this is going over to this route, that's a text response, and then we're also sending that response to the Jarvis personality here. So this is going to create the output, grab the output from this agent or the personal assistant agent, and it's going to convert this with like a nice little witty comment, right? So here's what you requested, sir. I must say your marketing strategy is subtle as your interest to start export, right? So this is just going to grab the information that's coming in from here, and it's going to make like a witty comment about it in Jarvis's personality. And that's then what we're doing is we're converting this, and this is where that JSON.stringify came in that I copied earlier, right? Because we're taking this and making sure that this is a valid JSON and converting it into text to speech based on this URL and this voice ID right here. So as you can see now, it converted this to a audio file, and then here we're just grabbing that audio, we're sending it back to our Telegram message ID based on that trigger that we had initially put. And again, the data is literally the same thing. You're just adding a file name called data.mpag because that's the name of the file here. Very, very simple, as you can see when we did this build. So that's the next steps, but the most important part is this, and then also again this HTTP request node, because this is what's changing that text from text to voice and sending that information. Again, sorry, I didn't, I couldn't go through all of these step by step, otherwise that'll be like a 5-hour long video, but I did do like a live build of this. So if you go to this section right here, like I said, where I go through a step by step and kind of start from the Telegram, show you how to create that, the switch node, add all of this, add an email agent as an example, and then also you can add the rest of them kind of following the same exact process. All right, well, hopefully you found that helpful and it wasn't too boring. Again, like if you wanted to expand on this and make this even further, you can add more child agents to this, so that way it's fitted around your own business model, or whether you're using this as a personal assistant. You can again create this and customize this to your own version. If you're serious about learning AI agents and how to build amazing workflows with n8n, make sure you join the community. I'll put the link in the description, where we have like live builds and co-builds. We have now live build and a co-build twice a week, so that way you can jump in and watch Chase and Alexandra build like a live project from start to finish. And then we have tech support and lots of other calls for you to make sure you're successful and not frustrated when you're learning AI agents in n8n. Thanks for watching again. Make sure you like and subscribe, because I've got some more great content upcoming that you don't want to miss. I'll see you on the next one.